All right, Twitter, what is up? My name is Mark Bergin, and welcome to another edition of Berg is the Word. And the NBA Finals starts tonight. Warriors at Raptors, game one of the 2019 Finals, finally gets underway. And very basic question I have for you this afternoon is, what are you more excited for? The NBA Finals, this entire best of 7 series, or the NBA offseason? If you have any questions, feel free to weigh in. I also want to try this out. I guess on Twitter now you can invite people live into the video. So if you're watching this and want to join the discussion, apparently you'll be able to do that now, which you've never been able to do before on Twitter. So that's also why I want to try this out, to see if any of you actually want to join in on the conversation that I'm going to have. A lot of plot lines to get to, and first of which we'll get to is the fact that Drake will be there tonight on the court. And, you know, his shenanigans sitting courtside at some of these games are pretty remarkable, especially considering he's almost like what Spike Lee was as a Knicks fan, those famous Knicks-Pacers game with Reggie Miller and Mark Jackson back in the day, or, you know, what Jack Nicholson is to the Los Angeles Lakers. He kind of has that fandom as a Raptors fan now, and he's really polarizing. And honestly, I think the NBA will try to do whatever it can do to try to garner and draw ratings, especially because they've been down so significantly. I'm not sure if you saw this earlier this week, but ESPN sending a push alert and talking about LeBron James celebrating Taco Tuesday with his family just goes to show you how badly they wanted him in the finals. Speaking of a team that goes to the finals every year, the Warriors going to the finals for the 5th consecutive year. The only other team in NBA history that's done that is the Boston Celtics back in the day, the Bill Russell Boston Celtics in the 60s and 70s. I believe they did it 11 years in a row, so we'll certainly see that. Another thing to keep your eye on as well, I found this absolutely incredible today. DeMarcus Cousins cleared to play for tonight's game. He is the first player coached by John Calipari at Kentucky who has gone on and played in a finals game. And that's assuming that Cousins will indeed play. But really, this series has big 2 storylines. And then I'm going to get into why the offseason's a lot more interesting than what happens in this series. This series has 2 big storylines. Number 1. Will Kevin Durant actually return to action? Has he played his last game as a member of the Warriors? They're calling it a strained calf. Originally, they called it a grade 1 strain, which usually takes about 2 weeks to recover. We're now on week 3 going into week 4, meaning leading me to believe it's either a grade 2 or more, or maybe even a calf tear. We'll see. He's traveled with the team to Toronto, and to me that means a few things. He won't play in game 1 tonight. But what that could mean is that he could suit up for game 2 later this weekend, or I could very well see if he just decides he's going to shut it down for the rest of the season, might as well still go and watch the finals. And that's something to keep your eye on as well, because he's already won 2 with the Warriors. He's won 2 NBA Finals MVPs. What more does he really have to prove? But with the thing that I don't understand with Durant is, what is this obsession with wanting to join the New York Knicks? And here's what I mean by that. Yeah, they've got the number 3 overall pick, of which they'll probably select someone like RJ Barrett. Zion Williamson's going to go off the board at number 1 to the Pelicans, and number 2, Ja Morant, will likely go to the Memphis Grizzlies if both of those teams hang on to those picks. But the Knicks don't really have any other assets other than that number 3 overall pick. Why is Durant going to want to join that squad? Why is Durant going to want to join? Ava wants to join the discussion. Ava, I'm going to try to add you. Hang on just a second. This is the first time I've tried this on Twitter, and it's giving me a countdown to have Ava join in the discussion. Ava, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
So this is the first time I've tried to add someone to a Twitter live video. I know they just added this function, and I decided to pop on here to talk about the finals tonight.
It's an honor to be your very first tap-in.
I appreciate that. Where are you based out of? Where are you going to be watching tonight's game?
I don't really watch sports. I just can tell that you're very cute.
Ava, I certainly appreciate that. That's honestly the best thing I'll hear today.
Yeah, I'm gonna go now.
All
My
right, very
dog is
good.
like
Hey, thank you
dying.
so much for popping on. I'm just honestly, I wanted to. That part of the reason why I hopped on is Twitter just added this function, and I guess you can add up to I think it's 3 people in one uh, live video now. I know
Way more than
Facebook's
three
added this.
people.
I know Facebook's added this function, but I'm wondering if they would add like maybe like a video element to it too, because I could just hear your voice right now. But
I look like Shrek, so you probably wouldn't want to like do that.
well, Ava, you take care, and thanks for hopping on.
Okay,
All
bye.
right, bye bye now. So that was kind of cool. Ava, thank you for joining the conversation. But yeah, we were talking about, why is there this narrative that Durant's going to go ahead and join the New York Knicks? They're they're a 17-win team from a year ago. Seriously, if you're Durant, now do you necessarily have to go back to the Warriors? No, he has a team option. So Durant can do essentially whatever he wants. But if the Warriors win for a third consecutive season, what would be the point? If the Warriors three-peat, wouldn't you want to try to four-peat? I don't think that's ever been done before because obviously Jordan did it twice. I don't know if Russell did it back in the day during his 11 titles, but if the Warriors go ahead and win, don't you almost owe it to the basketball gods, if you will, to try to go ahead and four-peat? And so you've got that, whether Durant has played his last game or not. And we'll get into more of that. But then you also have the looming question of, is Kawhi Leonard going to be playing his last games with the Toronto Raptors as well? He's also an unrestricted free agent. You could argue that those two players, along with Steph Curry, those are really the three best players in this series. But to me, the writing's been on the wall the entire time. It's the Warriors' title to lose, and they've been the prohibitive favorite even well before the start of the season. And again, really barring any other injuries to any of their other players, you would think that this is the Warriors' title to lose. They've been there before. They've had the experience. And even without Durant, Steph Curry played out of his mind in Game 6 against Houston and then all throughout the Western Conference Finals against the Portland Trail Blazers. So we'll go ahead and see. But a couple of other storylines I want to get to. I've got these written down on my phone. And, of course, my phone just lagged out. Give me just a second. But if you have any other questions about what's going on, please feel free to hop in. I'll do my best to answer them throughout this discussion. As I pull up my notes here, give me just a second, everyone. Okay. Another stat I thought that was incredible is over the past 5 years, Steph Curry has a better plus minus over the past 5 years than any NBA player's best 5 years that has ever existed. And that's for as long as that stat has gone on. The Warriors as well, something else to keep your eye on the importance of game one. They have won a game one in 12 consecutive playoff appearances, playoff series. That's the longest streak in NBA history. It's also Toronto's first NBA Finals tonight when they tip off at 9 o'clock Eastern time in Toronto. But yeah, that's really what I want to know is whether you're more excited to watch this series or you're more excited for the offseason. The Warriors are a 1-point favorite, the over-under at 214 right now as well. Again, both Durant and Leonard have player options, so what are they going to do? Is Toronto's trade of DeMar DeRozan in the offseason a smart decision, even if Leonard stays for just this lone season, or is he going to go elsewhere? That's really what I have my eyes on in terms of what actually happens on the court. Oracle Arena, this will be the last time NBA basketball is played there as well. It's the oldest arena used in the NBA right now. It opened in 1966. And the Warriors will move to the Chase Center next year. And a lot of people thought that might be the reason why Durant signed with the Warriors in the first place when he left Oklahoma City in the summer of 2016. So certainly keep your eye out on that as well. Another stat for you I found pretty incredible. The Raptors are the first NBA team to make the finals without having a top 14 pick on their roster since 1980. 66 as well. The game tonight on ABC, again, 9 o'clock Eastern time tip-off. But let me get into now, and I'm going to pull this up, the free agents that are available this offseason. And again, why I think that the offseason to me is a lot more compelling of a conversation than whatever happens on the court. Obviously, the top two free agents, you've got Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard. They both have team options for their respective ball clubs. Other players out there, Klay Thompson for the Warriors has an unrestricted offer. Kyrie Irving as well. He will be able to test the waters. Where does he wind up? Does he end up going back and pairing with LeBron James, possibly in LA? I could very well see that. But you've got a lot of other guys. Jimmy Butler, I know the 76ers will try to re-sign him. Tobias Harris as well of the 76ers as well. So there is a loaded free agent class this offseason. And that, to me, in combination of what happens in the draft, obviously we know the Pelicans have the number 1 pick. They'll likely get Zion Williamson. But what ends up happening there, to me, that's going to be a lot more compelling than the series because, to me, the writing's on the wall. It's the Warriors series to lose. And until we're proven otherwise, it's just a broken record with the NBA right now, and that could be part of the reason why the ratings are down as well. People tune in to watch LeBron. They have. This is the first time he hasn't made the playoffs since his second year in the league. And since he went to the West Coast to play for the Lakers, the ratings have been down. That is no secret. And they watch the Warriors. But, everyone says, I want to see a new narrative. Possibly that could happen with Toronto. But again, will it really last? And honestly, to me, I think the more compelling question is can Toronto sustain the success they've had this season moving forward? And a lot of that stems on whether or not Kawhi Leonard will come back next year. And really the question I have is, when did we get to this point? And this is really the bigger debate and the thing that I'll ponder moving forward is, when did we get to the point to when the off the court happenings, things that happen off the court, the signings, the acquisitions, the free agent deals, the trades, when did that become more entertaining than the on-court product? It's a great question. It's a great question, but I think we're there right now. I truly do. Again, my name is Mark Bergin. If you've enjoyed this discussion, just pulling up the free agency list right now. Free agency starts officially. Teams can begin negotiating with players on June 30th. They can't officially sign contracts until July 6th. So that'll happen a little bit later at the start of summer. But you've got Durant, Leonard, Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker, Klay Thompson, DeMarcus Cousins, Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, Chris Middleton of the Milwaukee Bucks. That'll be interesting to see what Milwaukee does. D'Angelo Russell. A lot of these guys, a lot of the guys I mentioned too, are either unrestricted free agents or have player options. I'm not going to go through all the specifics. But again, because you have such a loaded free agent class and how a lot could change this offseason, to me, that's a lot more compelling of a storyline than to be able to watch this series. So if you're watching this after the fact, what I want to know, please leave a comment. Are you more excited about watching this NBA Finals series, the 2019 Finals, or the offseason? Are you more curious to see how that plays out? I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. Thank you so much to those of you that have tuned in. Again, my name is Mark Bergin. Try to do this once in a while, and I'll be doing this more, especially the fact that now that you can join the conversation, really exciting stuff. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Happy NBA Finals, and enjoy the start of your weekend. Take care, everyone.